New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila. So we have the New Light team, Chris J and Lisa Rush in the house. Yes, and we are going to talk about, well, as you can see by the title, can you feel it? This is an energetic update because we really haven't even chatted. We just said, let's just jump right in because boy, there's been a lot going on energetically. And I'm not even talking about out in the, in the big wide world. I'm just talking about energetically for me personally, but I want to hear about y'all. How's
Go
it
ahead,
going?
Lisa.
Say
I don't
what?
even, I said, go ahead, Lisa. I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's see. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, where you're concerned, Lisa,
Yes.
the last time we heard from you in regards to a DIY INcension,
Okay.
you were either just embarking on you were just having what at that time I think you felt was only a 3-day fast, and then you went into a water fast that stretched into 30 days. Now I know that, I think that was where we last in our last DIY ascension, and you've had so much take place for you
Yeah.
energetically since then.
Yeah, especially since then. Holy smokes. But I guess what's going on today is kind of tied to that. So
That's
I get
yeah,
why you went back there. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so specifically I was guided to do that. And it's a trust fall exercise where I am concerned because I'm really going all in to trusting my own inner guidance and what comes to me to do for me. And so, yeah, my focus and attention really is on getting to know myself better and trusting my own inner wisdom, if you will, because I know on an intellectual level that I have a soul that has had many lifetimes and that I can tap into that wisdom using the power of now because all things are happening now. So I've been practicing my mindfulness and being tuned into all of me. And so that led to this 30-day water fast that you speak of. And a big portion of the reason for that for me was so that I could engage or activate, if you will, um, processes within my body that are designed or built in. And certain things that I can do or not do will affect whether these processes get engaged or not. And so one of them is autophagy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you if that was one of them. Thank you.
Yes. And so I have been working with my immune system and the cleaning up of the mess I've made of things throughout my life by not listening to my inner guidance and sort of letting my mind dominate the show and doing what sounded intellectually like the thing to do. And mostly that was just following the advice of everybody else except my body's. So yeah, that's put me on quite a journey. And so I'm having what I'll refer to here as a healing reaction, many of them. And they seem to be ongoing. And the fact that I am practicing actually listening to my body has been able to do to do what I like to call as triage work. So I have engaged the portion of my immune system that can now actually cleanse and rebuild. And the fact that I'm tuning in before I consume anything, and listening to what my body needs in each moment, I have been providing my body the building blocks to, actually make the repairs needed. So we have rheumatoid arthritis throughout both sides of my family. And my body has let me know that a lot of damage has already been done in regards to that and my joints. So my body now is cleaning up that mess. And so it looks a lot like pain and inflammation everywhere, which also has been a great service to me in ways that I'm only beginning to understand, because it's leading to other things that are welling up within me, to work on, to see, to acknowledge, and to work with and not against myself. So yeah, it's like every moment there's new revelations, there's new discoveries, and not all of it is, pain and inflammation. A lot of it's been very exciting, actually, to discover about myself and to go with. And then parts of it have been difficult and tricky. So I feel like I've just been in the amusement park. What is that ride that goes up and
Roller
down?
coaster? The
The roller coaster. There it is. So I've been on a huge roller coaster ride. So that's what my day has been like. How about you?
Your months.
How about you, Crystal?
The fast that you went on, was that a continuation from when we all just had that message to go on that fast?
Yeah. So at
Okay, so that
first,
makes sense.
I was feeling I was just going to do a 3-day fast, and then I heard you were doing it, and lots of people
Lots
were
of
doing
people,
it at
yeah,
that time, and mine ended up stretching out into 30 days. So
yeah.
I did not eat the month of September.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. And that makes sense to me how you were, working with your body during that time. Because I was like, I wonder why all of these people have been called, just got that
Yeah.
intuitive message to just do a fast at the same time. It was pretty cool how people were just popping up out of everywhere. Hey, I'm doing a fast. I'm doing a fast.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
And
I
then I
loved
got the
it.
message that it was for the body and to help build the immune system as well. So that's pretty cool.
See? Wow.
No, I didn't
Well,
go no 30 days. I think I went 5 days that time. And then the first of the month, I've been doing 2 days on the first of the month.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So that's what I
um,
was called to do.
yeah, see now, it's really, I'm glad that you brought that forward, Crystal, because that to me is another, puzzle piece that we are all of us guided by in very similar ways, but of course we hear them, that guidance, through our perception filters, our experiential filters, really. And that's why it may sound, look, or come out differently for different folks, as it should be, actually, since we are all so
Right. We're all
unique.
different.
It explains that to me anyway. And because now, for me personally, I had that same feeling, and I knew that I was being asked to go further, to fast further, and I did not do it at that time. I did not feel, for some reason, there was something within me that was very resistant to that at that time. I
Mhm.
am now getting the urge on my own that I don't feel a resistance to. And so I didn't get angry with myself because, well, everybody else is doing it. You should be doing it too. You know, I just did not do that. I'm really glad that I didn't, because that's for me, I'm being told to relax into myself. And so I made that choice then. And I wanted to relax into that and not be concerned that, well, everybody else is being called. And I felt like I was being called in some ways. And I did do a short, 3-day fast myself at that point, but that's as far as I took it. So we'll see what's to come up next here for me. I was guided, and I found it interesting that to learn this morning, I awoke, went to bed really with the knowing that I was going to be doing a fruit fast this week. Nothing but fruit and liquid, right? And I learned this morning that Albert is saying that he's going to be doing one as well. So you see, and it's not like we chatted about that or anything else at all. So I find that really very interesting too. Um, because the energetics really are very real. And I feel like the more I just observe and take in puzzle pieces without that proclivity to label them this or that or the other right away, I'm being shown just how similar things are, and how we are these points of awareness for divinity to express itself. And I don't know, the knowing of that just makes all of this that much cooler for me, because I mean, I'm sorry, we are pretty awesome when you look at that through that lens, to know that it can be the same and yet not at all the same, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been going on for you, Crystal?
Um, well, one of the biggest things that's kind of happening energetically for me right now is like tapping back into this energy of like the divine spark within. This about 2 years ago, I don't know, this whole concept kind of came about for me, and um, it's almost like I'm being, I wouldn't say push, but the message that's coming across to me is like to stroke that fire, within that divine spark within us. So whether that be for me, like following my passion right then and there, doing the things that
Mm,
excites my soul, those sorts of things. Like I'm really being pressed to do those things right now. And there's some times where like I'm pressed to handle the mundane and do those things, but we do those things on a daily, but when this feeling starts to kind of gravitate and swirl around within me, like it becomes really, really strong. And it's been that way like the past 2 days. So that's what I kind of been doing this morning, tapping back into that, fueling those flames basically. I know that there's something more to this because, like I said, this has kind of been like a 2 year thing to where I've been working with the fire within or working with that divine spark. So I know that there's more that I don't know about it. It feels big to me, whether it just be for me and my path, but I don't know. That's kind of what I've been up to. And that's the energy that's pushing me around today.
I love it.
yeah, me too. And to hear you speak on that, it's like, well, it feels too, see, because there's other things. I don't know if we want to bring it in into this update or not, but we had talked about briefly, you and I did, Crystal, about what's been happening with your little one.
Oh, yeah.
And when you started speaking on that spark within and how you know that you're tapping into that. I feel as though, because that other thing came right forward, like, okay, because that now, that focus that we talked about that was on you, is now that mission has been completed,
Right.
and it's
Right.
yours to carry.
It's mine to carry. Is what I heard just now is like maintaining that, because like the I would say like the past couple of months I haven't felt that particular energy. Sometimes it comes in with a rush and I'm on it, and then other times it's like, just kind of, like I said, kind of like just a mundane type of feel. And you know what? That what you brought forward just now, it really makes me see that it is up to me to maintain that divine spark, to maintain that. Like it isn't her mission anymore. So no wonder that energy has been coming in so strong the past couple of days, especially since, we've been bringing this conversation forward. Like there is more to see about this. So you just pulled like that big puzzle piece in for me. Um, Somebody that's watching might be totally confused about what in the world we're talking about
Right.
with my
So
little
let's,
one.
yeah, let's back up a little bit
Yeah.
and share why that came forward. So please go ahead and share what you feel to share in regards to that.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start with this story, and I don't want to make it
Well,
like
if you
super
don't
long
mind, I
either.
would love to share what you said to me,
Yeah,
that before the surgery. Is that okay to do?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, well, at one point in conversation, Crystal and I were having conversation, and Crystal felt as though it could be that her little one would choose to go through the heart surgery saga, because her mission, as it was kind of communicated to you, felt that she only came in here to kind of get you back on track to your mission, and that perhaps she may not have wanted to stay once that was complete. And these were your words and your
yeah,
feelings about that, right?
yep,
And I could see where, oh wow, yeah, that could be a real thing. She doesn't want to pull in, the extra whatever. Maybe the plan was to just come set you straight and get the hell out of Dodge, right?
yep,
Which I could definitely see how that could be an agreement that the two of you may have had, right? Well, the fact is, as we all know now, she didn't leave. Well, both myself and Lisa were noticing, we haven't been around Quinley now since the surgery, but we've seen pictures on the internet. That's a totally new,
yep,
different, uh, and I will use the words more of being. And when I brought that forward with you the other day, this is where we are now in regards to that. So
yeah, yep. Um, Quick little cool story here. Uh, yeah, up to the surgery, about midway point in the surgery, there was that acknowledgement that she could be leaving. Um, And about midway's point to the surgery, I don't even know if I've told you guys this, but about midway's point from the surgery, got away from the family, went to the bathroom, kind of, went and had my own little space for a moment. And I heard her, or her spirit, or her higher self, um, telling me that she wanted to stay, and I could hear her voice say like, "Mama, I'm coming back," just like reassuring me. And and it was almost like an amplification type of sound. Like there were it was almost like this was being discussed while she was talking to me, like there were new terms or new agreements being made while she was telling me. Now I couldn't hear what those were, But I just had this deep, sincere feeling that she's got a new mission, right? So I walked out of that bathroom, went back to the family, and I was fine from that point. I'm like, I already know, you know? Um, and so that was a really cool thing that happened. And so the whole dynamic has kind of changed after completely after surgery.
Mhm.
Wh- So before, me and her had a very um, specific type of relationship. It was, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. It was very. I don't even know how to describe it because it. I have another child, and I've obviously been a child myself, and I've seen the dynamic between the parent and the child relationship, and but me and her was like very close isn't even the word. There was a frequency type of connection between me and her that runs very, very deep. It may have everything to do with the mission of why she was here and how she sparked that divinity within me. But it was very, very unique, right? And so the dynamic has shifted now with her coming out of surgery. I know in the core of me that she has a new mission because that dynamic is now taking place between her and my sister. Now, me and my sister have actually talked about this too because she's like, she's different. And we've had the whole conversation about, yeah, she's working with you now. She came in and she worked with me and she did what she wanted to do. She helped me. And I can see now completely and totally and fully that she help me to find that divinity within me, that divine spark, right? And so now it's completely different and she's on her new mission working with her. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I told you also that my mama brain wanted to step in the other day and be like, oh, it is, you know what? It's kind of the feel of like when your kid transitions into the teenage phase where they kind of, withdraw from you, that type
Yeah.
of feeling.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that feeling. And
Oh,
like,
honey, I went through that at preschool, by the way. I was expecting tears and hugging on my legs and all of this. And he was like, okay, see you later.
bye.
And I was like, not even a hardly a goodbye, just
Mhm.
see you later.
Yeah. So my
I
mama
guess
brain kind of wanted to step in and be like, "Oh man, my baby." But then I was like, "No, no, you gotta step back and allow this because she got work to do." So, so that's kind of
Beautiful.
where this is all at. This is a beautiful process. I mean, I gotta say, being able to step outside of the experience and like see this whole thing, like, phew, just wow.
Wow.
well, see, for me, that is the magic of taking the woo woo out of the woo woo realm and realizing that it is absolutely what's taking place, because that perspective that you just shared with us is that's nothing short of magical,
Exactly.
and it's
Yeah.
just a matter of seeing it, sensing it, and feeling it. And that's all about a state of
Mhm.
allowing it to present to one as what it is, and also by not prejudging and labeling things,
Yeah.
because Lisa's team helping her has helped me vicariously because she'll share with me the things that they have her working on, and it helps me see how, well, wait a minute, that works for me too. And that's really how we are all raised. I mean, look at the way we learn. We have to label things so we know what category to put it in and all of that. But it also ruined us for other, opening up the thoughts to allow something that we would consider magical to present itself.
Yeah.
And what you're sharing there, what we are noticing about Quinley, is nothing short of magical when you feel into it,
Yeah.
knowing that, because I think you and I had that you had no intention of having a second child, right?
Right.
I
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So to then, realize that there's this agreement. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is so that and all any of us have to do is stop for 5 seconds and look at those in our lives and realize, oh, there's an agreement here, which is what I just love about all of us, that we are willing to stop and see, because and that is the way to, for me, that was the way to see that I was not a victim in any of what I have suffered. And I'm using it like that because that was the label I gave it, because at the time I felt like I was being put upon pretty hardly, pretty harshly, physically, and all those kind of psychologically, all those kinds of things. But universe said, but did you die? Obviously not. And so I don't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
yes, it is very beautiful.
Well, and it shows. It's like she doesn't look the same to me.
You guys aren't the first people to say that either.
I'm
She
sure.
looks and feels
Different.
totally different.
Yep,
Yep.
she does.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just been beautiful to watch.
Well, I wanted to say there's more. And so the aspect that has stepped in through the surgery is a larger aspect. And when I think of what we feel like her mission may be now, it's required.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
required.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and I could say that because I recognize that frequency and that intensity, kind of resemble it a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's a large mission. Could you share with us the story about the bicycles?
Yeah, what was that, like 2 or 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was when I was cooking dinner the other day. And so I went outside and she had all all of her bicycles of past lined up in a row, and she had like even went as far as like I had kind of put them in a pile that I need taken off to the landfill. And she had dug them things out and she had them lined up, and I went out there and she had her little spray bottle and had a little sponge and a rag, and I was like, what are you doing? She was like, I'm cleaning the bicycles. I was like, why are you cleaning the bicycles? And she was like, because I think that some kid is going to need them. And which it's kind of typical around this time of year. She'll start putting together her toys that she don't use and stuff like that, and she always wants to pass them along to somebody.
Love
Um,
that.
and so she said that she was going to clean these up and that somebody might need them and they will just appear for the child. So even in her eyes, there's like this magical way of, you know what I'm trying to say? Like this magical belief that not only that things just work out for people and that things, just appear was her words. Um, but that to me kind of spoke on levels that like she's already tapping in or already has the knowledge about creation, about bringing things into your reality, about manifestation, those sorts of things too. And it wouldn't surprise me none if she hasn't already like pictured who the child is too. Like it would not surprise me at all.
And
Yep.
that she got that nudge, right? And she followed it. She knows her place in the universe,
You know,
how
you,
things work.
yeah,
It's like she was acknowledging that the universe is moving through her right
yeah,
now because others have needs and she's preparing. I don't know. The whole thing was so beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Really, really magical.
Yep, me too. I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
I know one thing we need to do, and I'm gonna bring Brittany along in this, my sister.
Okay.
Um, I know she would be down for it because we have open conversations like this all the time, and she understands the mission. Like she can feel it in her soul that this is what's happening. So much so that even like I told you about the dynamic kind of changing,
Hmm.
like back before the surgery, my baby didn't want to go anywhere. She wanted to be right here with mama. She didn't want to go nowhere. But here recently, like she's constantly at Brittany's house. If Brittany comes, I want to go with you. Whereas before it was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. And that's where she's at right now. So I can't wait to see like the way that she teaches her and opens her up to certain things, the way that she did me. Like she really, in the most naturalist of ways, taught me love, you know, love for another, love for myself, the essence of love. She naturally did that. And I can't wait to see like what transpires between the two of them in this mission. And I think that that's going to be a future conversation, and we're going to have to tug Brittany into this and have
Oh
that.
yeah.
I would love that. I would
Yeah.
adore that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Um,
Exciting.
yes,
It
I
really
know.
is. Like my insides are like,
Yeah, it's like I can't wait to see what she does next.
No, honestly, right? Well, that kind of thing is actually all around us. That's one of the biggest reasons for my desire to have these sorts of conversations because it's not magic and woo woo. It feels magic
it's
and it
magical.
feels woo woo, right? But it actually, it really just is. And it's whether or not we are allowing ourselves to tap into that,
And bring that forward.
Yep.
right,
To
to
be
recognize,
moved by that.
Yeah.
Ooh. And that's what
right.
she was doing. She was
Yep.
embodying that in such
Yep.
a beautiful and elegant and natural, easy way. Like she's truly leading the way in that.
Yeah,
I
for
Mhm.
took
sure.
great encouragement from that for myself to
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
the same.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, for me, in many ways, I'm seeing the energetics of more um unconditional type compassion
Mhm.
um in beings that you wouldn't suspect them of being what we would say awakening, spiritual, whatever. Again, those are all a whole bunch of labels that I can see are they're really, they just trying to describe another kind of energetic for me as that's
Mhm.
what I feel like. Um, and that's why I said it varies in how it reveals or expresses because it's coming through that experiential filter, but just knowing that that is what it is, I don't know, for me it just does change everything. Now I wanted to ask you guys, this happened to me night before last, speaking of energetics, and I told Lisa it's been happening quite a bit here today. I was in bed and hadn't been in bed very long really, and but hadn't really moved since I lay down, which was in about maybe 5 minutes. Okay. And all of a sudden I had this, ooh, oh, it's like very euphoric, a little bit dizzy, little bit bed spinning type thing, right? And there was no reason, nothing I had done. I hadn't moved my head fast, or it was similar to vertigo, but not. I don't know how to explain it. And I told Lisa this has really been happening for me quite a bit today, which is kind of interesting in a different way, not as pronounced. as that, and the frequency has really picked up. You know, I don't know how to. It
The
sounds,
sound.
yes, well, tones. Sometimes it reminds me of a high voltage, wire. Sometimes you can hear them humming or whatever. It's almost like that because it's
Mm-hmm.
just so up there. And so I was just wondering, have you guys noticed anything, now I know Lisa, you shared that you had quite a bit of unrealized anxiety last night for yourself.
Yeah, it was like I just kind of got hit with a wave of anxiety. And so my brain wanted to find something to attach it to. Because I wasn't thinking thoughts and then they made me feel anxious.
Right.
Um, and it was getting stronger. It was kind of like, you know, how the tide rolls in. It's just little increments until all of a sudden it's like, woo, it was really full within me. And yeah, and I wonder, what is that? I'm not sure. What I'm practicing doing is instead of engaging that and sort of swirling around the dance floor with it, I tried the step back and just observe it, kind of like I'm watching the tide, and just sort of allow what I'm feeling to be what I'm feeling and to make peace with that. So,
You
again,
mean
I
without
have no
trying to
idea
assign a
what that was
person?
about, but that felt better to me than what I saw myself doing, which was, you know, what what can I find to noodle on in my life that makes me feel anxious, you know, and a whole bunch of subjects wanted to come up and swirl around the dance floor with me. And that did not sound like a happy invitation. So I said, no, thank you. I vocalized it to Albert, which gave me that distance. So it was something I was observing, not something I am. I didn't want to embody, I am anxious, and this is why,
Right.
because that's an old habit that I have.
Hey, I like that. So sometimes just looking for a reason, especially if you don't have a reason, now
Yeah,
you've got into the fact, oh, wow,
yeah,
that's
yep. Well, as you know, um, most of my inflammation and pain are I have ganglion cysts on each of my wrists. And so I looked up the spiritual significance because I woke up with that has spiritual significance. It was just kind of a phrase that I heard either I was saying to someone or someone was saying to me. Anyway, I brought this back from sleep time. And so I decided, oh yeah, I bet you Louise Hayes might have a correlation there for me. So I did look that up, and the risks both are about interacting with others, giving and receiving. And the right specifically is about giving, and the left is about receiving. So I have been noticing lots of things. Um, I have noticed I am surrounded by blessings that I don't allow. I've caught myself not allowing these blessings to come in full on and be what they are. And that's given me a lot of food for thought. I had to decide if that's really how I want to proceed moving forward, and I don't. So that's something else that is like now opening up for me. Um, so because I'm focused on it, I'm seeing it in like an onion fashion. There's layers to it. So I want to allow my well-being, and because I know that that is what the source or my creator, however you want to hold where I come from, wants for me. And I'm trying to align myself with that opinion more and more every day. And so as I find myself practicing allowing my well-being to wash over me, I'm noticing ways that it's there, but that I block it or stop it or simply just don't allow it. So yeah, watching my anxiety as though it were just something, like a dark cloud going by in the sky helped me not engage that within my body and become the anxiety, if that makes any sense.
Well, it actually does, because I mean, I know for myself that, I can get myself pretty worked up,
Yeah.
emotional state, regardless of what what
Yeah.
that is. I've done that to myself many times. So I recognize exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, and I caught myself sort of enjoying it once upon a time. Um, like that was a fun activity to do. And that rather shocked me, that observation. And so I had to ask myself, is that really fun? Or is that something else? And I've chosen that that's not fun for me. And so I'm deciding what is fun for me and rolling with that and allowing that to be who and what I am experiencing in that moment, if that makes any sense. Because each moment I have a choice, and just allowing that truth to be present in every moment, I find myself wanting to make new choices more and more and more. And that feels way more empowering to me than, well, you did this to yourself. You made your bed. Now you got to lie in it, because that feels negative or disempowering to me in some way. So
Well,
choosing,
not to mention what we are learning in the handbook for the new paradigm is that thought thinks within itself.
yes,
So I kind of recognize as what you're working with there is a way for you to let's not allow that thought to continue thinking in within
and
itself
pull in
and
more and more evidence and experience to support the theory I'm having.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that you're bringing about like a healthy way of healing, like standing. You're able to stand in the water without being pulled out. You referenced the tide,
Yeah,
coming in. It's almost like being able to stand in the water and see those things, but not
right.
being pulled out, into the tide and
Carried
kind of
out to sea.
right,
Yeah,
right. You're not getting washed away in
right.
right,
that.
right.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. That was a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's cool that you brought up the wrist, though. I know I mentioned to Sheila yesterday. I had started doing this with my hands. My hands have been so sore in my wrist. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Me
Mhm.
too. Me too.
So that's kind of cool that you brought
Well,
that
that's,
forward too with
to
that.
be honest with you, that whole thing, honestly, at least I'm sure you won't mind my saying this, you have been, uh, every joint, your hips, every
Yeah.
joint in your body is experiencing pain, right?
Right.
And I have had some of that myself. Now, not as tremendous as what you've been having, but that's because I take a daily regimen of turmeric and ginger and, and all of that. I mean, I practically, that's about all I drink is that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that that's partly why I'm not. But then that's why when Crystal said that about her hands, and she used the same language you did.
Oh,
Yes, about her fingers feeling like sausages. I know I told you that's what Lisa said, and you
Yeah.
said you felt
Yeah.
that same way.
Yeah.
And I have had off and on different pains like that. I feel again, I told Lisa, or no, maybe it was you yesterday, Crystal. I feel like my fields are counter rotating, right? And like that's part of the toroidal field for me. It's sort of a double situation kind of thing for me. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, it feels to me like all if you stand and are swirled around very quickly through the centrifugal force, you will feel the blood run out to your fingertips. That's just how that works,
mhm.
right? And that's what I was experiencing some yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday or day before. I was experiencing that for some reason, along with now I have been doing stretching, but I've been doing stretching for months now, so I shouldn't still be having muscle pain just from stretching. Not really, not like that. Not like what I experienced at the same time as feeling like my field was counter rotating my physical vessel. So I don't know, just very interesting things. And I know since we've met last too, okay, Lisa actually had you had a experience very much like I did with the kaleidoscope thing. And remember you were sharing with me how the that stuff in your eyes.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Well, and I shared it with you because I remember you mentioning something about this. And so,
Right.
but I couldn't remember exactly what you had said. So for me,
Right.
I was seeing um geometric, that's a word I couldn't find for a second there. Geometric shapes in
Mhm.
the shape of a C. Um, at first it was a very just a half circle, maybe is better than a C. But as it wore on and it was in my vision, so it was in my peripheral. So it would be like it was out to here, and I kind of wanted to see, I had to turn my eyes to look directly at it. And when I turned my eyes, it would bop over here because of course it was in my peripheral vision. And so I experimented and I was closing one eye and it was in both eyes and it was flashing. And at first I thought it was symbols, but then I realized I think it's just shapes that had dots or squiggly lines inside. And it was filled with bright, almost neon type color, and it was flashing. And it was disconcerting because if I closed both of my eyes, I could still see it. And it was superimposed over my vision. So I had to just kind of calm myself because right away I was feeling jarred and like my body wanted to get concerned. And so I just sort of dropped deeper into my body and asked my spirit if if I'm okay. And I was getting, yes, you're recalibrating your vision was what I got. And so by the end of that experience with it, it had almost closed. So it was really more like a C, but there was still an opening or a gap. And I want to say this went on for maybe 3 hours. And then, because I just sort of relaxed into it and just let it be what it was. And then I noticed when it went away, like that's when I really noticed it again. Like, wait a minute, it's gone. I can't find it. So it happened, it came back again, and it happened to be in the center of my vision. And it started out almost closed, just like it was over here. It started this way, but it was this way at the end. This one started like this. And it was just right in the center of my vision. And so I just really relaxed right into this one. And it did eventually close, and then it disappeared. And that one only lasted maybe 20 or 25 minutes. That was it. And I haven't had anything like that since, but
Well,
it was very interesting.
yes, because when you described it, it's almost exactly, and I actually asked myself just a few moments ago if I think I could draw it, and I am going to, um, because because that did happen for me, although it was over a year ago, I want to say, and that's why I said I think that things happen for each in the timing that it's meant to, and not necessarily it's all, like, I don't know, at first when I started hearing things about energetics, well, if an energetic moves through, it'll affect everybody, right? Well, maybe
Yeah.
not. It could be because of whatever's happening on your own personal spiral is what I feel like that's about for me. That's how I envision that. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, it looks like we have to cut this one short. We just got word that we have to go rescue somebody who's locked
Yeah.
themselves out of the car.
Yeah. Somebody who's married to me.
Well, I wasn't gonna give it
Well, it's
away.
funny because he called, and so I just muted the call, and then I texted him that we're recording. But I had a sense that this was not a normal call.
I'm
So
so glad that,
I was about to say, do you need anything? When he came in with, yes, as a matter of fact.
well, let him know we'll end it right here. And but I want to just say, I want to tell everybody that the three of us and Lori, who is not here today, we're all doing shows on New Light Streaming Love. You can find us at www.knewlightstreaming.love. Believe that or not, I love that we can have it's not a .com because we don't do that.
We do love.
We do love. And so you can find everybody there, and on the YouTube channel, New Light Streaming Love, and it's with a K. I actually, let's see, I wrote it down so I won't forget.
Oh, I love that.
Cool.
Facebook,
That's beautiful.
TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, X. You can find us everywhere because Miss Crystal has got us covered.
She
And
hooked us up.
she sure did. And I want to say also to go and make sure to click on Lisa's thing, because she's still getting messages, love letters from the universe. And there was another one that dropped this week. And if you sign up, you'll be notified. So I wanted to say that too. The same thing goes for your blog too, doesn't it? Journey into it. When you write on your blog, if folks are signed up
Yeah.
to your email,
Yeah.
they'll be notified, right?
It does. I don't think I have that on the website any longer to where you can sign up for it. But
Oh, okay. All
I'll
right.
have, yeah, since we all,
Oh,
joined
I got you.
together. Yeah.
Oh,
Right. And before we end, I'm going to say this. If you want to join us for a conscious conversation about a topic that you would love to talk to us about or with us about, send that information to conscious conversation central at gmail.com, and it will appear on all of the different places that we have those conversations appear on. And so, did I forget anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, till next time. Be well, everyone.
much
New,
love.
Move towards that which brings you the highest joy in each moment that presents itself to you. I'm convinced that's the mission overall.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.